Hey everyone, this is Max from Unsubscribed Healthcare. I just wanted to go over your recent purchase of the soap note template that I made. This is the introduction page. If you don't want this page going forward, you do not have to see it again. You can right click and do hide sheet. You can also do delete this sheet. I do not care if you do delete it or not. It's just here for you in case you want it. But this goes over some shortcuts and tips that I have been successful in using when I document. Um, you can read over that. I can go over them in a different video. In the insurance info page, again, if you're just cash based and you don't take any information or patient information, you can just right click and again, either delete or hide sheet. It's not going to mess with the formatting or the data. If you come to the database sheet, what you'll find is that you're going to find your company name and information and all of this stuff listed out for you. If I typed any of it wrong, please feel free to correct it here. If you correct it on the other pages, they won't update to all of the other pages. You need to correct it in this one spot in order for it to update to every single page. Here is where you will find the users as well as their NPI and license number. If there is any mistake here as well, please feel free to update it here. Going forward to the right, this is where you're going to input all of your shortcuts. This is where you want to spend most of your time during the initial setup phase and getting to know this template that I've made for you. So I've left in here a couple of tests for you to try out. If you wanted to, for your evaluation and flow sheet, as well as the treatment notes and flow sheets, you would update the exercises here. So say that you wanted to add squats, right? And you did 10, sets of 3, and you spent 5 minutes and you're going to call it a therapeutic activity. You can press enter. You can do that. You can also just type in Thera and it will come up with a list of options for you. But now it's added in there. So when we go over to the eval sheet and review that, you can see that we'll be able to click on the squats. So in the first template that you've made, you want to spend some time doing this and really make sure that you have most of your exercises down. And it's going to be a lot easier for you going forward. It will not update if you make a copy of the original template and you start making other additional exercises on your flow sheets. It will not update unless you update it on the original template. That's very important. That's the limitation between this and the data center add-on that I've created. The data center add-on in the Unsub menu, there's a lot more options to drop down, and it updates every single flow sheet that you create or make a copy of. Or it updates every single template in eval and progress note that you make a copy of. So you only need to update it in one spot, and it will update every single one over and over again. So talking about the unsub menu, let's break into that real quick. The idea behind this is that when you finish an eval, you can come up here and you can click Save Current Sheet as an eval. And what it will do is it will take the information from the patient's name in cell A12 and it will look for a folder in your Google Drive. If you have a Google Drive folder named after that patient, it will save the PDF directly to that patient's folder. It will save it with the patient's name, the title of the current sheet, as well as the date. And that makes it really helpful because instead of having to download as a PDF and then rename it and then upload it again to your Google Drive, it just makes it one button. The idea that I had going forward for the copy and name of current sheet is that, say you do your first treatment note. After you're done with the treatment note, what you want to do is copy and name current sheet, and then you would do like RX1 or whatever you want to call it. If it's a progress note, you would do progress note. But you're going to see now it made a direct copy of that same sheet. And what you'll do here is, now that you've made a copy, click Save Current Sheet as PDF. And there you go. Now it will save directly again based on cell A12, that patient's name, into their folder, and it will save it as patient's name, RX1, and the time and date of when you saved it. So it's just a really helpful little tool. It makes it a lot faster. And when they come in for their second note, you can easily go back to the first treatment note and look and be like, okay, this is what they were feeling last time. Let's update that and see how they're doing now. It makes it really, really easy and quick to kind of get a quick review on your patients instead of having to open up every individual one. And again, after you're done with the second treatment and updating that second note, you would just come here and do RX2 or whatever you want to call it. Right, and now you can see it has put it. So it puts the oldest one in the back, newest one in the front. And that's how it will organize it for you. Again, we talked about the eval sheet. This is the treatment diagnosis area. On the database, again, I have all of these spots for you to update. So if you wanted to update the plan of care to add more shortcuts, you would update it here. Assessment, objective, subjective, all of these things are able for you to update one at a time. And again, it needs to be on that original template, otherwise it will not update whenever you create a copy going forward. So spend some time doing it on this one and you can get most of your shortcuts done. ICD-10, if you have additional ICD-10s that you use or you don't use any of these at all, feel free to delete them and make your own and add them in. I do the numbers at the front and the diagnosis at the back. That's because when I do additional coding on the add-on sheets or on the data center add-on, it makes it so that I can easily pull these numbers out, which is required for the CMS 1500. But again, you can change all of this and it will update to every eval, super bill, and everything else on this current template. It will not update on copies going forward. So again, if we come here, the treatment diagnosis is searchable. So if you type in right, it will bring up right. If we type in ankle, it will bring up ankle. Okay. Makes it nice and easy for you. Again, all of these drop-down menus, things can be customized and you can add your shortcuts. So say that you did a typical history of present illness and you wanted to add blanks, you could also do that. So let's come back here to subjective. We'll open that. Right, history of present illness presents with and made an appointment with MD on. He now is seeking treatment for blank, right? So we just wrote that quick little thing. Okay, we come back here to the eval and we click on this. We can click there. Now you'll double click on the cell and now you can delete and fill in those blank spots with whatever, right? So that's just a little trick to make it pretty quick for you to document as well. But the last thing I wanted to go over is all of this stuff is customizable, right? So say that you wanted to get rid of forward head and you don't use forward head. On the treatment note here, you can now see if we go down, forward head has been deleted, both on the current and the initial eval. So if you change any of this stuff in this row, it's going to change on the treatment sheet going forward. If you change any of the range of motion on the left, it's going to update going forward. All of your stuff from the initial evaluation will be brought onto the treatment note. But say you don't do any cervical and you want to get rid of this and put hand, you could, as long as it fits in these 5. You're going to be all set and it will carry forward. If you insert a new row, you will need to come over to the progress note and insert a new row here, as well as insert a new row on the initial evaluation values, and then type in whatever you wanted to label it. It also would not update on the left and the right unless you programmed it with this simple code. But if that's something you're interested in or you need help, I'm very open to helping you guys out, and I appreciate it that you guys bought the templates. So any questions going forward on how you can customize it or get it to be what's the best for you and your business. I'm, really willing to help you out to an extent. I can't obviously help everyone and do the work myself. But if you need videos on like how can I do this, I'm more than willing to make those videos so that you can do it yourself. But I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please get in contact with me. Um, but otherwise, thank you so much for supporting me and buying this product. All right, I will see you around, and make sure that you subscribe.